What is going on, guys? It is your boy BF back again with another video after our BF1 montage. If you haven't seen it already, go check it out. We're going to do BF5 competitive maps, tier maker, tier rankings, whatever you want to call it. Basically give my opinions on these BF5 competitive maps and sort of tier them regarding, you know, how much I enjoy them or not, and I'll try and explain and stuff why that is. So let's just jump right into it, right? Should we just start from left to right? Okay. Obviously some of these maps are competitive in different ways, right? Some of these are T5 maps, some of these are like T4 rush maps, or they were both, or whatever. I think the best ones, in my opinion, the best competitive form that I played was T4 rush, and those are the sort of maps that were probably going to be higher on this list. T16 conquest maps, such as Aerodrome, I'm going to put on the pretty pants list. There were some funny moments on that map, but because it was just so centered around, you know, the hangar or whatever, it was pretty campy because that was the sort of PowerPoint of the map. You might as well just peek a door and then go back in, and peek a door and go back in. There wasn't much movement around that map, and if there was, it was just a vehicle that was just mowing you down because it was quite wide open as well. There was a few valleys and stuff, but overall the visuals, the gameplay, the whatever, I think pubs are more fun on that map than the comp was, and that doesn't apply for like any other map basically in this game. So there you go. We're going to put Aerodrome in the pretty pants tier. I'm going to go for Wake Island. Wake Island was a weird one because I'm pretty sure it was only like T5, was it T8 nations that was, yeah, I think against the Netherlands. I think it was UK versus Netherlands or whatever. Very bushy, you know, it was a very, very bushy, luscious place to be. A lot of wide open sort of line of sights, especially where the sectors were concerned the flags were concerned for like squad conquest. You either run in the open and get beamed from someone in a power position, or you're in the power position, which happened to be another hangar. Those fights were quite intense, quite good actually. If we could just play like 1v1s or something in the hangar, that'd be quite interesting, right? I might even make a change early on Aerodrome, put them in the actively whack category. I'm going to put Wake Island in the pretty pants category because I think that had a bit of like, at least there's like some good gunfights when you are in the hangar, but in the Aerodrome hangar it was like, you know, has anyone ever had a good gunfight in Aerodrome? I don't know. We do Arras. Yeah, Arras was like an interesting one because it basically did, you know, every single thing. It did, you know, T8 early on, you know, T16, T12 conquest. It did T4s, right? It did the T4 rushes, didn't do T5s. Imagine playing T5 in Arras, bro. One day you thought it was your strongest map, and then one day you thought it was your weakest map. At least that was the case for me individually, and I think for the teams I was playing for as well. For Chaos, for example, I think at the time it was like, are we good at this or not? We don't know. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, right? Like, I remember taking maps off PLG for the first time, like in Rush. That's what we did, and I think it was on Arras. It was in a scrim or something. And we were like, oh, okay, sick. And then, you know, you play it again. Was it season 3? No, season 4, right? ESP season 4? Final, the T4 final? Yeah, we got stomped. So Arras is one of those. But I'm going to put it in the I8 category. We are pretty nicely spaced out, you know, I think. I actually liked the ability to sort of hide a little bit in the foliage and stuff, in the reeds or whatever. The fields of wheat, fucking Theresa May, like, that was actually kind of interesting. Like, a lot of other maps didn't have that. I don't think any of the map had that. So we're going to go for 8 for Arras, and you can tell I've made these tiers. Underground. I think Underground was a pretty swag map, not gonna lie. Even for T8, it was a bit like mad, but like it was kind of mad anyway, like in other game modes, because you'd have so much like audio from, like, you know, Ash would call out like, they're underground, underwater or whatever, water, like, because you can hear them, right? You can just hear them all the time. You can hear people across the map on the other flag and stuff. You could hear people all the time. So like that was kind of like one of the unique things about Underground, was just the audio difference from that map compared to other maps. It was so dinny, it was like so obvious. People cranked their headphones up for that one, you know. I remember there being just, it felt like there was like a lot of history on that map. Like, you know, there was the Buffalo teams that were like, that was their like core map, you know. And then we played a bunch of crazy T4s against like Raid, for example. You know, had some like insane like plays and like stuff going on in Underground. It was just one of those maps. It's also obviously like one of the older Operation Metro maps and stuff. I think people enjoy it for that sort of factor. So yeah, pretty swag overall. Had some bad times on it as well when we lost to KSA. I think that was one of my map choices. I think so. I'll take that one. I think that's one of my fuck ups. We won round 1, I think, and then we we lost round 2 more than we won round 1 or something. I don't know. So yeah, I'll take that one, boys, for UK. Sorry about that, but I was in the BD World tournament, the infamous tournament. So I'm kind of realizing that, like, honestly, I'm not sure there's any other map that I would consider a beaming map in this game. Oh, I don't know. Ooh, actually, Okay, I'll explain. I was about to say I don't think there's any other map that I think is a beaming map apart from Mercury. For me, Mercury was always like even in like T8 pickups early on, it would be like I'd get the lure skin out or whatever. I'd get that. Me and that map just get on. I don't know what it is. Like I could play TD. That's probably like one of my favorite TDM maps. Even the domination map that was on for like 2 seconds, I think, in the entire game life cycle that like no one played, actually worked on Mercury. Like it was actually a good map. Like one of the few domination maps that wasn't just ridiculously large. And then obviously T4 Rush, good memories on that shit. Like, you know, just intense. You got the B house. You got, you know, obviously beating PLG, like with Ghost with the bayonet charge. Ash almost got the bayonet charge. You know, for Rush specifically, like every sector was quite unique. You know, you've got the first sector, which is completely fighting uphill, and then second sector is super urban, and then third sector is kind of uphill, and then you're kind of downhill, and you sort of get that momentum where you're like so close to the end, and you get a bomb, and you sort of roll it to the last one. And I don't know, it was just kind of like, it was just a good map for like different pacings and different styles. Like you could snipe quite viably on the first 2 sectors, I think, especially the second one, but you can get picks and stuff like the sniper battles between people on like the hill and then people who started like, you know, in spawn or whatever. Those were quite intense between like Maxik and Berg and, you know, all those kind of guys and Rubber and stuff with the PO8 just popping people, just pissing people off, right? Like all the different gunfights you could do. You could use support, you know, you could smoke down the middle and run as a medic. You can obviously the assault guys were super important with like a Rivet or something, some random shit. I just think it was a good map. I enjoy it. I don't know, maybe that's controversial, but I quite enjoy that map, to be honest. That was a good one. And I remember when it came into the game, it was like one of the like moments in the game life cycle where I was like, oh, okay, you know, this is okay, we're getting there. EA dice, you know, okay. And then we all know how that fucking died real quick. But anyway, I think Narvik was pretty swag. Again, I've just brought down my dissertation stuff. Let's pretend as if that never happened. Yes. I think Narvik was one of the swag maps in the game, just because like, even though it was a snowy map, which is going to lead me on to my second one when we're talking about Fjell, but even though it was a snowy map, it was actually like, despite that, specifically for comp, because like, you know, conquest pubs and stuff and breakthroughs and stuff were painful. Like let's not pretend like that was terrible. But I think for comp, it works for T8s, it worked for T5s, didn't work for Rush, not happening, obviously. I don't know, it was one of those sort of maps where I remember getting the 4-piece against Revelation, I think it was. That was one of my like memorable moments on Narvik. You know, that was pretty sick. And I just had a bunch of teammates who were like always good on it. You know, basically every UK player, like, you know, Geordie and blah blah blah, like Ryan and stuff like that. I swear it was like everyone's like really good map on that. I don't know why, it was just one of those and stuff. And like there's a bunch of games where we won on that map, and a bunch of games where I've lost on that map as well. I remember getting bagged by Phantom and shit, like on Strangers with Candy and stuff. Like it was just one of those maps where like it was so dangerous. The 157-01, good times. It was, yeah, I think it was with PLG. It must have been. I think, yeah, it was with Jubs and stuff. Yeah. That was just a good memory and stuff. So pretty swag. It's not quite beaming because it is a snow map, and it doesn't work for Rush. I mean, to be fair, it is one of the smallest sort of maps that we played, and like that actually was kind of interesting because you could, like, I don't know, if you get kills, you can actually convert it into flags. Like the kills mattered so much compared to other maps. Like if like kills on Rotterdam, for example, were like important, but like, I don't know, or Arras, like you just spawn back up on your home flag, and it would take so long to get somewhere after you've killed like a wave of people that you probably have to like 2 engagements, 3 engagements to like get around the map. On Narvik, you could probably get like a wave and like push straight to like the other person's home flag and apply pressure and stuff, you know. So it was quite an interesting one. But that's my thoughts on Narvik. You know, still not like insane. It's not beaming level, but it's, in my opinion, but it's good, you know. Should we do Fjell though? As I was talking about Fjell, Jesus, pretty. I don't know, pretty pants. I don't think it's actively whack. It is pretty pants though. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like snow maps really, especially on BF5. It's just the contrast is just non-existent, and like the sun's in your eyes, and people, there's like glitch spots and stuff. That was a big issue for like BMF and shit back in the day. What a hassle, you know, getting abused by Finnish players and stuff because they blatantly used a hack like a mountain goat or something, and then not a hack, you know, an exploit, a game exploit, an intended line of sight, all that good buzzword stuff. And yeah, Fjell had like, oh, it has like, 3 lanes and shit, but really the 2 lanes are like the middle lane's like actually kind of more important than like the flag lanes, and then the long flank on the other end is so campable on top of a roof or something. Then like the ATC route is just so campable that it's like not really a flank route, so you end up just sort of bullying your way through this. And then the spawn traps are so easy when you get there and stuff. Pants. Although I mean, there's some good moments. I remember playing the Tribe versus Venom, like T8s and stuff. Those were like one of the more intense games I've ever played. I think that was one of the games where I couldn't use my mic or something, or I had no headphones or something. I played without audio and without communications or something. But yeah, I feel overall it's not like terrible, because it is quite a small map. It's not too big. It's not like super duper pants. And, there has been some good games and stuff on it. I remember the Duke Sal Prince moment. That was hilarious on Fjell. But that's not really down to the map. That was just because they're both like, I don't know, they had like a potato moment. I don't know. So yeah, there you go. We're going to put Fjell in the pretty pants list. Moving on to Rotterdam. Rotterdam was from like the start, like the Arras, the Rotterdams and the Hamada, like the 3 rotation maps were like pretty core to the whole game for such a long time. And then even up to like ESB season 1, like there's like that final against, what was it, Exceed. That Rotterdam map was like one of my best maps I've ever played with the Lewis gun. You could, it was one of those maps where it feels terrible, but it's actually kind of fun. Like, I don't know how to explain it. The spawns were dodgy as hell. The sort of fights you'd have on the bridge and stuff, this is for T8, were super dodgy, spawn trappy wise, and there were imbalanced size and stuff. I'm talking myself into an I sort of talk, so it's like it's pretty decent, not terrible. It's not pants, but it's not like actively good, So I'm gonna put it there. For Rush, it was one of the maps that I struggled on the most, but it was one of the ones I struggled on the most, but still enjoyed playing the most, which is very rare for me. I don't enjoy games I'm bad at, let alone maps I'm bad at. So Rotterdam was quite fun for me in a bunch of ways. You could snipe on the lanes and stuff. It was kind of 3-laney-ish, more 3-laney than Fjell pretends to be, I felt like. And yeah, the sort of gunfights around B and stuff were like some of the best ones that you get with different lines of sights and stuff. And there was, you could finesse around the beef site and stuff, and the stairs were quite interesting that you didn't really have on other maps at all, really. But you could still shoot through them and see them and stuff. And I don't know, it was kind of well designed, like that specific B conquest area gunfight thing where they've got 2 sides, especially for like T8s and stuff. It was quite sort of tactical, actually. It's one of the more tactical maps in terms of like, okay, how many are we sending this lane, how many are we sending this lane, are we pushing, are we holding, like all that kind of stuff. Marita, oh god, pretty actively whack. It really was. It was pretty actively whack. I don't know if I've done the same as what I did on the fucking thumbnail. I was good on Marita. Like, it was actually one of my stronger maps, in contrast to Rotterdam, where it wasn't one of my strongest maps, but I actually enjoyed it. Marita was one of my stronger maps, but I just didn't enjoy it. Like, even if you're good at that map, it's just not enjoyable because there's so many buildings. Pubs, it was terrible. I know this is about comp, but it's worth mentioning. Pubs were just abysmal on Marita. Everything, like Conquest, would just be a big mishmash on the sea bridge, right? You'd have Ash eating his tea, watching a lane, bro, on AC. Like, come on, that's just terrible. I think one of the better experiences was the BFN, like EMP, whatever it was. The first ODC and stuff. I remember winning that with blah blah blah, fucking Chap and what was that American guys with the terrible mic? You know who I mean. Oh, was it American or was it Australian or something? You know exactly who I mean. The guy with the terrible mic. Controversial, that's it. There we go. There's so many mishmash bullshit, head glitches. There's not even like health stations on each flag and stuff. It's just terrible. So much top of the roof, top of the house camping, beaming through windows. So many window gunfights. Like, it's probably one of the more realistic, like, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan sort of settings where like everyone's just camped up, bro. But to actually play, nah. We'll just stop talking about that now. Do like Hamada, yeah, Hamada. So Hamada's a weird one because obviously, I mean, I think it's only a T8 map really, but it's one of those ones. It was similar to Arras and Rotterdam where it's like so played that like it's probably quite bad, but because I'm biased, I actually think it was quite endearing in a weird way. Oscar driving his tank up on top of B and stuff, that's hilarious. Like, I don't know. I actually don't know where I'm going to put this. It's either going to be in I or pretty pants. Ooh. I don't even know what to say about it. Maybe that's not really that good of a thing, quality for it, If I don't know what I'm saying about it, it can't be that bloody good, can it? So I'm probably going to put it in pretty pants. I suppose I'd like to play this the least out of these three, right? So that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to put it in pretty pants. I'm going to stick with that. It's pretty pants because I can't really say anything great about it. The tank battles were quite interesting. I got killed by a tree Hamada once. Yeah, no, I can't justify it being in I can't. It's pretty pants. Even the B fights are pretty pants because it's all the stairs and the side bits and stuff not actually going on the flag. Like, it's not enough to objective play. And then you just camp and get attacked by a tank coming out of base on the other ones. Yeah, no. Lofoten Islands, pretty swag. Not gonna lie, pretty swag. You know, it's one of those sort of T5 maps, that T8 maps. It didn't have a rush. I kind of really wish Lofoten had a rush, even though it probably wouldn't work at all. But it could have been like a really small one. I don't know. Could have been like a really small rush. I don't know. But it kind of could have. I feel like it could have worked or something. Because, bro, I don't even know. Lofoten should have been a bigger map in general. Like, you know what I mean? It should have been like because it was in Firestorm basically, and they just whatever. Anyway, could have been like a sort of navally conquest one that they could have put in the game, but yeah. I mean, T5 is pretty hilarious, like, you know, camping under A, just under the buildings and stuff. Hilarious. B fights were pretty good at the start of the round, but like, I'm always thinking, like, is it viable to do different things? Like, it actually genuinely is. Like, AC squad was probably just as important as B squad on that map. The spawns were probably the worst thing about Lofoten, like, because they were so predictable that if you got a bad spawn, you'd be sort of in the open, you'd sort of spawn into people's like line of sight, right? But the underneath sort of flanking things through B and like flanking round, that was quite interesting with the sort of different levels. You sort of had like 4 levels. Like, I'm thinking like top of the, what's it, A or C? I think top of the C flag, and then you sort of take a tier down to the sort of silo area, and then you sort of take a tier down to the sort of B area, and then you sort of take it in the tier down to like underneath the B area, like along the shore, right? Like, it was quite an undulating map, different levels and stuff to it, different lines of sight. So you could play sniper on it, you could camp, you could push at the same time, right? You could finesse around the silos, you can camp and take a line of sight and lean around a silo as well, you know what I mean? It was quite one of those maps where, and I remember like being so dominant on it with PLG, for example. Like, that was just like, if you played us on Lofoten, you would lose every single time. I don't think we ever lost on that map. It was just so dominant. I think that was like season 2 time. Yeah, that was just our map of just like, yeah, there's no chance, you know what I mean? Even with the UK guys as well, it was kind of similar because it's the same sort of players, really. This is what I was debating earlier with Mercury. I don't know if Devastation is the only other map that I think is a beaming map, but I'm trying to justify it to myself. Okay, so Deva, like, you know, you could play because the T8s on it was so different to, like, you could play T5 on it. T5s were kind of memey though, because it is quite a huge map. You know, me and Ash camping on like Baker's home flag and stuff. But the T8s and the Rush were like so different because they come out from different sides and stuff, right? Different sides of the whole thing. But that's kind of one of the beauties of the map, was that you could use it for different things. Even like Conquest and stuff, it was actually viable to play. Like, that's probably the best Conquest map was Devastation. I'm putting it in the beaming tier. I don't care what you say. I didn't actually like it. That like it was actually one of the better domination maps as well. There's someone where like the whole church area is a flag, right? And that's just stupid because. But I remember playing Last Stand with it, with the tribe guys like Dom and Callie and stuff. Like, that was the only Last Stand I've ever experienced in my life. But like, that was actually like super intense. Like, it was like a 1v1 in the church or something. Like, you know, like hiding in the pews. It's like the lighting was obviously always an issue, but it kind of got fixed to an extent. And like, there's so many like moments where like, I remember almost beating Venom on that map with the tribe guys. That was heartbreaking. Slap dropping 30 or something, and then obviously like all the rush moments where I've lost so many maps on that, and then we've won so many maps. Like season 1, season 1, like with Zoldyck and Denise and Alpha and stuff on that season 1 PLG team, like going down super, like we all started 0-5 like on Deva, you know, at the start, and then pulling it back and stuff, making the comeback. Like the fights on B were like kind of really strange, but like they're kind of predictable, but they were also all different, it feels like, at the same time. Like, they were all kind of the evolution potential of the map was quite interesting. Like, there's quite a lot of routes you can take and stuff. It's difficult to like really nail it down and be like super duper good in every gunfight because it was quite different. Like, there's so many different factors and stuff to put into it, different lines of sights and stuff. But I think Rush was like such a good map for that because it actually took advantage of like one of the conquest flags and stuff. B Conquest, I think it is, like, you know, the first sector for Rush on Deva was like one of the better sectors for both sides. It was quite interesting to attack. It's quite interesting to defend as well, trying to hold like the different levels and stuff. That was one of the few ones where it was like window based, but it wasn't like completely AIDS. Like, you could actually still play. So yeah, I feel like Deva was quite pretty beaming sort of map. No, I think no, we're good. I think that's a pretty solid list. I'm quite happy with that actually. Quite happy how that turned out. You could argue that underground should be in the beaming tier, to be fair. But apart from that, I think that's about it. Ideally, I'd probably have Mercury, Dev, and then another tier with underground, and then another tier with like Narvik and Lofoten and blah, 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 you know what I mean. Anyway, that kind of does it for this video. Hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts. Maybe do a reaction in the comments. You know, how much do you agree? How much did you have in the same category? You know, how wrong am I about this map? Have I missed any maps? I don't think so. I tried to get them all, but yeah. Let me know what you think, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. And yeah, enjoy your day. Sayonara. Thanks for watching. Leave a like.